Hey guys, I hope you're all doing really well. Today I'm going to share with you the items that I'm going to be decluttering now that it's the end of 2017. These are items that I've been setting aside for the last little while, and they're just no longer suitable for my personal collection, whether they are too old to use anymore or there are items that I think someone else could get better use out of. They're just not something that adds value to my collection, or they're products that just did not work out for me. So I want to hop into this pretty quickly and share everything with you because there is a fair amount of stuff here, so let's just hop right in. First item I have here is the e.l.f. Mineral Infused Primer. This just didn't do anything for me, unfortunately. This was in my Project Pan Roulette, so I really did give it a fair shot over the first month of that project, but I ended up just having to declutter this because it literally didn't prolong the wear of my makeup. It didn't create a better base for my makeup. There was nothing about this that did anything for me, and so it was just an extra step that wasn't adding any value, so I'm going to pass it off. Hopefully it can work for someone else. This next item is a mini of the infamous NARS Orgasm, and I got this as a deluxe size sample, I think in a 500 point perk in Sephora probably like 6 years ago, so maybe five years ago. So one, it's super old, so I'm not going to be passing this off to anyone. I think that it's just ready to go directly into the trash. And two, I didn't get any use out of it. For a mini, you think that I would have hit pan on it over this course of all this time, but I'm not really, or in the past I wasn't really a blush wearer, and I actually did not like the way that this one looked on me. I should have decluttered it long ago, but I kept thinking to myself, so many people love this so much, I have to make it work. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna make it something that I love, but I don't love it. I don't think that the color is the problem. I think it's the glitter that's the problem. I really did not like the way that this looked on my skin because I have a lot of texture on my cheeks, and I just felt like the glitter stuck on top of my pores, and it was very unflattering, and then the color would wear away and I would just have all this glitter on my face. So I really should have gotten rid of it a long time ago. I am learning that just because an item isn't hyped or is hyped doesn't mean that it's suitable for me. So unfortunately, it's too far gone for me to pass this along to someone, and this was a really good learning experience for me that if you don't love something initially, you might not love it in the future, but I also think that project panning is going to teach me a lot more about what I love in a shorter period of time than holding on to something for literally years. So I'm going to continue on with cheeks, and this next item you guys are definitely familiar with if you have been watching my channel for this year. This is the Benefit Cheekathon palette, and this was in my 17 and 2017, which I ended just a couple weeks ago, and this product is beautiful. All of these blushes are gorgeous. They're just not suitable to my personal collection because, like I said, I'm just not a major blush wearer, but also these are not cruelty free, so I don't really want to bring them into the new year with me just for the sake of having more blushes in my collection. And I'm able to dupe the majority of these items within my collection with blushes that I actually prefer to use. So I am going to pass these off. I did take out Rockateur because I have just fallen in love with that shade so much, and that's the blush that I'm wearing today, but I did take that guy out just so that I can finish that one up. And to finish off cheeks, we're going to talk about MAC Soft and Gentle. It's the same situation as the Benefit Cheekathon palette in the sense that I just don't want to bring this into 2018 with me because it's something that I've already paid for. That's not a valid enough reason for me. It's just not going to see enough love. And if it does, then other items in my collection are going to get overlooked. So it's just now time to pass it on to someone else so that they can love it and get more use out of it. And the remainder of my collection can get more use out of it as well. I don't see the point in holding on to it just because, really. So I'm going to pass this off. I'm going to obviously disinfect all these items and then pass it off. This next item is the Quo Color Corrector Quad. There are 4 items in here, and they're all color correcting creams. There is a peachy tone, like a more yellowy orange, a purple, and a green. And this never worked for me. I purchased this a few years ago, and I actually reviewed it on my blog, and I didn't like it then. I still don't like it. I keep trying to make it work for me. And I would reach for it every once in a while when I was gonna just take like makeup photos, but not necessarily wear that makeup for a prolonged period of time. So I would reach for it for that, but it's just not useful enough for me to have it in my collection for that very reason. These are so slippery, so when you put your foundation or your concealer over top of it, I just find that it just slides. It doesn't actually, it doesn't work as a proper base. Whether it color corrects or not, it just still isn't gonna hold up the products that go on top. I don't know, I'm not even gonna pass it off to anyone because now it's getting a little bit older. It's definitely over 2 years in my collection that I've had this, and there's just no point in handing it off to someone else because I personally just don't think that it's a good product. And yeah, it is really old for a cream product as well. So again, this is just something I wish that I had passed off earlier. I definitely don't mean to hate on e.l.f. at all in this video, but I have 3 more e.l.f. products here, and these all came in a set. I have already decluttered the other 2 items that came in this set as well, but these are the shimmer eyeliner pencils, and I just thought that it was a really great deal. I think it was like under 10 bucks for 5 eyeliners, and they come with a sharpener in the lid, but these are just not good. Like, these just tug at the eyelid so much for the little amount of color payoff that they have. These swatch beautifully. They do have a little bit of a scratchy, almost pencil crayon feel to them because they are wood eyeliners, but on the eyes, I can't make them work. This next product is the NYX Colored Felt Tip Liner, and this is in the shade White. And I love the idea of having this like crisp white felt tip liner, but this did not perform whatsoever for me personally. I found it extremely difficult to get the pigmentation that I wanted, and every time that I would lay this down like back on itself to increase the opacity, it would just pick up the product. Not only was it picking up on itself, but it was picking up the products underneath, and it just never ever could look good. Like, I thought that this would be such a cool product to have in my collection, but I can't get on with it. It's really not a good product, unfortunately. However, NYX does have another white eyeliner. It's more of a brush tip, so it's in the pot, which is something that I'm not as comfortable using. It's a little bit more difficult for me to use brush tips, but it performs amazingly. It is so opaque, so pigmented, and it does not do this thing where it like picks up other products. So I would suggest that one over this one no matter what. This next product is the Physicians Formula Organic Wear BB Mascara. So BB meaning bigger, better lashes, and I do not agree with that at all. This product actually barely coated my lashes so that they had like a little bit of a black finish to them, and it honestly felt like it never set. Like, my eyelashes, I would like touch them and they would still be wet and it would transfer all over my fingers, and I had a problem where it transferred up onto my eyelids and underneath my eyes because it just never ever set. It was so annoying, and I used this in the summer for the first time, and I had like major raccoon eyes when I decided to use this. I have 2 NARS Velvet Matte Lip Pencils here. One is a full size, the other is a deluxe size sample. This first one is Cruella, which was a Sephora birthday gift a few years back. I just never really reached for it. The color is actually really beautiful, but I have other deep reds in my collection that I just prefer, so I'm gonna pass this off. Hopefully it's still good. I think it is. There is no difference in the smell or even the performance or anything, so I'm gonna pass this off and see if anyone else can get more use out of it. I just own way too many red lipsticks to want to hold on to this because NARS is no longer cruelty free, and it's just something I haven't found myself making use out of. And the other one is the Dragon Girl, which was a really poor choice for me to put in my 17 and 2017. This is about 4 or 5 years old now in my collection. I honestly can't keep track. And I did not use it like whatsoever this year. So it's just time for it to go. Unfortunately, I can't pass this off to anyone. Milani Amore Matte, and this is in the shade Sugar. It's a beautiful deep color. I love these kinds of colors in the winter and fall. However, this is just so drying. This is way more drying than any other liquid lipstick that I personally own. It was so uncomfortable, so painful actually to wear. I am very sensitive to dry formulas, so it could potentially work out better for other people. But I do have a Kat Von D liquid lipstick on right now, and I'm finding it to be significantly more comfortable than this. The Kat Von D still is a formula that is like a little bit drying, but it's not as uncomfortable as this. Like, my lips felt like raisins. I did not like this whatsoever. This next item is a Tarte Lip Surgeon's lip cream, and this is in the shade Wonder, I believe. Yeah, this is in the shade Wonder, and I actually have two of these in my collection. This is the one that I've only swatched. I've never actually worn this on my lips, and I think it's just time to pass it off. I don't know why I need two in my collection. I had one in my Ipsy bag, and then my friend got another one in her Ipsy, so she gave it to me because she doesn't wear red lipstick, but it just doesn't make sense for me to hold on to it, so I'm going to pass this off so I can focus on my other one and actually get that potentially used up in the next little while. We will see, but I did try to work on it in my 6 for Summer project pan, and I did not make a ton of progress. This next item was also in my 6 for Summer project pan. This is the MAC Single Shadow in the shade Woodwinked, and it is too many years old to admit, so it's time for it to get decluttered. I focused on it in that project just to get more use out of it, so that I felt like I could justify getting rid of it, even though it really needed to go even a few years ago, to be honest. But yeah, it's just time to declutter this, throw it away, get it out of my collection. MAC's not cruelty free, so perfect time to start a little bit more fresh at the beginning of the new year. This last product is an eyeshadow palette. It's the oldest eyeshadow palette in my collection, and it's just time to let it go. This is the Stila in the Light palette, and beautiful, beautiful palette. I loved this while I had it. I have depotted these two products here, Kitten and Bliss, just because I had already hit pan on those two, and they are beautiful shades that they were kind of what was making me hold on to this palette, and nostalgia really was, because this was the first ever like more high-end makeup product that I ever purchased for myself, and eyeshadow palette. And this was kind of the thing that got me really into eyeshadow, because before purchasing this palette, I never thought that I could wear eyeshadow because of my eye shape. My eyes were a lot more hooded when I was younger as well, and a lot more oily, so I just never thought that I could wear eyeshadow. I thought it was just like not something that was in the cards for me. But when I decided to pick up this palette, because I just fell so much in love with all of the colors, I decided that I would try to figure out how to make eyeshadow work for me, and that's what got me on the journey of finding eyeshadow primers and figuring out what kind of products really worked for my eyes. And then I really learned what sort of shapes worked for my eyes, and I had so much fun with this palette. And I know that it doesn't look like as touched as you would imagine, but I got so much use out of this palette. I think this was the only eyeshadow palette that I had for about 2 years before I kind of went crazy with purchasing makeup, but I still have like a very special place in my heart for this. I purchased this for myself for my 20th birthday, and I just, yeah, I love this, and I'm sad to see it go, but it just doesn't make sense for me to just hold on to it for nostalgia's sake. And I did pull the other two products out so I can focus on them next year, so that I can get more use out of this palette in a way. There's just no need for me to be holding on to any of these items when someone else can get more use out of them, or they're just really meant to go in the garbage because they're just not going to work, or they're too expired. And this is not meant to be any way of hating any of these products or hating any of these brands. I just want to put that out there that this is not supposed to be negative, I guess. I actually look at this as a very positive thing, because it means that I'm growing within my makeup collecting sort of mentality. I'm getting rid of things because they just don't make sense anymore. I think it's a really positive thing. It has taught me a lot about what kind of items work for me by deciding to purge some items. So yeah, I think that this was really positive. Yes, I had some negative things to say about products, but not every product works for everyone, so that's just a good takeaway from this video regardless. Anyway, I want to wrap this up because I'm feeling like this is super long, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys!